This video is sponsored by Magic Spoon. So here's the thing, the older you get, the more health conscious you become, and you start to realize all the sugary cereal you used to like as a kid, this isn't that good for you. And that is where Magic Spoon comes into play. You get to try the cereal you used to like as a kid, but without any of the drawbacks. So it's keto friendly, it's soy free, it's grain free, it's wheat free, and it's gluten free. So if you have any dietary or health restrictions, you most likely would be able to eat the cereal. It's also high in protein, and most importantly, it tastes really good and there's different flavors. You have Frosted, which is the one I've been eating the most. I'm almost finished with the box, so I need more. There's Cocoa, there's Fruity, and there's also peanut butter. If you want to try this for yourself, all you have to do is click the link down below and use my code LarryLurr to get $5 off, or you go to magicspoon.com/LarryLurr. Hey guys, Larry here, and for today's video, I will be talking about 5 characters I currently believe are underrated competitively in Smash Ultimate. The characters I will be talking about do not have to be top tier necessarily, but are considered by many to be a lot worse than what I think they are. And with that being said, let's get started. It's really interesting because there are a lot of people who think Marth is a really bad character. While I do agree that this is one of the worst iterations of him competitively in Smash, I think people are confusing difficulty and convenience for viability. In my opinion, there is currently no reason to main Marth in competitive Ultimate when you can main Lucina, who is not only a better character, but significantly easier. Lucina's lack of tipper hitboxes is a trade-off from Marth, who has the potential of taking stocks earlier for the ability to more consistently take stocks. Now, just because Lucina is easier and you can put a lot less time into her and be greatly rewarded compared to Marth does not mean she's significantly better than him. There are some people who make tier lists and put Lucina in top tier while have Marth in lower mid tier, which to me makes absolutely no sense. Marth has the same frame data as Lucina, meaning his attacks, mobility, weight, etc. mirror hers. The only difference is the tipper and non-tipper hitboxes, which if you land the tipper can be noticeably stronger and safer on shield compared to Lucina's, or if you don't, will be noticeably weaker and more unsafe on shield compared to hers. This means that a lot of Marth's combos and kill setups are heavily dependent on your positioning with the character compared to Lucina. While this may make it difficult to close out stocks in certain situations, with proper spacing and practice, Marth can work around that. In fact, there are situations where Marth can guarantee a stock where Lucina cannot. It's unfortunate because Marth is a really good character and potentially could be as good as Lucina, but the way things are now, we're most likely never going to see anyone who is willing to invest enough time into him to show that. If you're a frequent viewer of my channel or streams, then this next pick shouldn't come as a surprise. I still believe that Mii Brawler is a very underrated character. Their frame data and mobility are great, giving them the ability to rush down pretty well and get a lot of high damaging combos. An easy way to explain the character for those that don't understand why they're good is that they have the mobility of a watered down fox with frame data and combo capabilities similar to Mario. But even that does not fully explain why they're good. They have a major X factor which comes from their ability to swap out their special moves. Depending on the matchup or stage, they can customize their moveset to counterpick the opponent and make fighting them that much harder. On Triplex, they can get Mario-esque combos, which in some situations can be even more devastating than Mario's because their thrust uppercut not only has a better launch angle than Mario's up special for taking stocks off the top, but also has more knockback and can close out stocks on opponents without the need of platforms at a reasonably high percent. Their helicopter kick can take stock super early off the side blast zones and has a good amount of ways to combo into it. They can give themselves a super destroying attack with soaring axe kick that can outrange sword moves and take stocks off stage at pretty much any percent. They have one of the best command grabs in the game. A fresh suplex does about 22% and can be comboed into. The aerial version has very little end lag, making it pretty difficult to whiff punish. Similar to Ganon or Bowser's command grab, you can do it off stage and potentially trade stocks with your opponent. Feint Jump is a watered down version of Zero Suit Samus' Flip Jump, but is still good for getting out of bad situations and improving their recovery. I think depending on the rule set, this character can potentially be absolutely ridiculous and super difficult to counterpick, but that heavily depends on how willing the Mii Brawler player is on mastering this character's multiple movesets. This is probably a hot take, but I currently believe that regular Link is the best Link of the 3. Though he lacks the mobility the other two Links have, he more than makes up for it with better hitboxes, stronger attacks, being noticeably heavier which allows him to survive longer, and having more versatility with his bomb. Link has one of the best neutral airs in the game, has decent startup, is very active, has a pretty big hitbox, and can be as safe as -2 on shield. It's also good for comboing at a huge variety of percents and can lead into kills and also kill itself at a high enough percent. Link has a good amount of moves that can set up into kills such as Boomerang, Down Tilt, Bomb, and as I mentioned before, Neutral Air. He has a pretty sizable window to get these confirms, and the kill moves they can combo into are pretty strong attacks, so he can close out stocks pretty early. If he's unable to get a kill combo, he has a good amount of moves that close out stocks from a raw hit, including his up special which gives him a frame 7 out of shield option, and his up throw can kill. Bomb is able to assist Link in just about every situation. It can be used to set up potential 0 to death combos, it gives him a frame 4 out of shield option which can also lead into kills, it can be used as a zoning tool, it can help him with his recovery, it gives him the ability to go for non-committal edge guards, it can give him easier ledge trapping options, and even more. While Bomb is one of his biggest strengths, I also think it's one of the issues Link players have when playing him. It seems like a lot of Link players are either too reliant on Bomb or aren't reliant enough, and it's probably that aspect that holds back Link players the most in my opinion. I truly believe that Link is an exceptional character, but in order to see it in a competitive setting, we need a player who is willing to fully utilize all that the character has to offer. I initially thought Mewtwo was a pretty decent character. Like maybe if he received another buff or two, he'd be solo viable. But after learning more about what Mewtwo can do, I truly believe he is a lot better than what most people think, even before the 13.0.1 buff. Before I talk about why I think Mewtwo is really good, I want to address the elephant in the room regarding his flaws, because I know without question I'll get comments mentioning his giant hurtbox, including his tail hurtbox, and his weight. I do agree that these are huge flaws that the character has, but his strengths more than make up for these issues and can somewhat mask them. Although he's big, I think he's one of the hardest characters to hit if you fully utilize all that his kit has to offer. His Shadow Ball alone gives him a ridiculous amount of versatility. It's a good zoning tool, approaching tool, can start combos, finish combos, lead into kills, and kill itself. Outside of that move, he has pretty well ranged attacks that can give him the edge at mid-range. His tail is part of his hurtbox, but the very tip of it is not and can be used as a disjoint. He's the only character in the game that has a reflector that doubles as a command grab, and that command grab can combo into kills at higher percents. His teleport recovery can also be used to help him land, especially on platform stages since he can edge cancel it, and it's a viable option to help him get out of the corner. The move that I think goes under a lot of people's radar when talking about Mewtwo is his Disable. For those of you that don't know what Disable does, I'll briefly explain it. If you hit an opponent who is facing forward against the attack, and they are grounded, they are put in a shield break animation, which allows Mewtwo to do pretty much anything he wants to them. If they're in the air and they're hit with the attack, it will hit them away a short distance. If the opponent is not facing Mewtwo, then the attack does nothing. This attack has a deceptively long range and can be used as a reversal tool against other attacks since Mewtwo has 7 frames of invulnerability during the move's startup. It can also connect if you footstool a grounded opponent, which means it could be a devastating out of shield option against aerials, and in certain situations, it can be comboed into. The big issue with this move, of course, is that the opponent needs to be facing Mewtwo in order for it to connect. But there are plenty of situations where you can get it to work, and the payoff to land this move is huge. Mewtwo not only has great ground mobility, but he also has amazing airspeed, which he can use to hold advantage longer than most characters when utilized with his disjoint attacks and projectiles. It can also help him get out of disadvantage when you combine it with his ability to teleport. There's a lot more to the character than what I've mentioned, and if you're interested in watching an in-depth guide to Mewtwo, I will have that linked in the description. I think Pit and Dark Pit are very underrated in Ultimate, and it's for the fact that they are relatively honest characters compared to the rest of the cast. While that might be true, it does not mean that they aren't really good characters. Overall, I would say they have one of the better neutral games thanks to their good ground mobility, disjointed attacks, solid frame data, good burst range, and having good zoning and anti-zoning tools. Thanks to their disjointed and active hitboxes, they're pretty good at juggling the opponent and ledge trapping. In terms of edge guarding, they have pretty good tools to make sure the opponent doesn't come back with their arrows, having the ability to go super deep off stage, get the opponent themselves, or depending on the situation, using their down special which can push the opponent away without hitting them, making it really good at preventing the opponent from grabbing the ledge while they're in freefall. Their down special is also a reflector and can be useful for helping them land or get back on stage, since it can act like a secondary shield. Thanks to the buffs they got in patch 4.0 and 8.0, they also have a kill confirm using up to and up air that has an insanely large percent window to work. Overall, I think they are very good and well-rounded characters that have solid options for just about every situation. While this is the case, I think that their lack of cheese deters players from investing time into them. And that is it for the video. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my list and what characters you think are underrated. Also, make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it and to subscribe to my channel if you're not yet subscribed. Those things really do help me out a lot. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.